Hi everyone, welcome to Go Classes. In this lecture, we are going to solve the Relations Weekly Quiz. We are going to discuss each and every question of this Relations Weekly Quiz. In this weekly quiz, let me tell you all the questions they are based on defining new relations. We have defined new relations and now we need to analyze those relations and we need to solve the question. So definitely this weekly quiz will improve your analytical skills. It will improve your problem solving skills. Okay, so let's see all the questions one by one. Let's start with this question. A binary relations over set A is called surjective, and this definition of surjective relation is given to you. So a new relation has been defined. Let me tell you that this question is actually from Stanford. You can easily see. Let's begin with a new definition. They are defining a new relation. A binary relation R on a set A is called surjective if the following statement is true. For all B, there exists a such that A is related to B. So you can see this question. This question, you can see this surjective relation, the definition of surjective relation. This is actually taken from Stanford University assignment. Okay. Now, let's solve it. So, read this question and understand the relation. First, you understand what is the given relation, then you can easily solve this question. So, read this question. A binary relation over set A. Okay, so this relation is from set A to set A. This relation R, this is from set A to set A. Is called surjective. What is the definition of surjective relation? This is the definition. For all B, there exists a such that A is related to B. Remember, the question is saying that for every element, there is an element such that A is related to B. Okay, so let's first understand this relation and then we will solve all these questions. We will see each and every option. So first you understand the definition of surjective relation. Surjective relation. Okay, so the question is saying that if you have a relation R from set A to set A, when can I say that this is a surjective relation? This is a surjective relation if for all B, you can see for all B belonging to A, means for every element, what should happen? There exists a element, there exists a element such that A is related to B. Okay, this is the given surjective relation. Now, two questions I am asking you and tell me which relation is actually surjective. Now, let me give you a set A. This is set A. This is, let's assume 1, 2, 3. And I'm giving you two relations on set A. Relation 1, R1. That is, let's assume 1 is related to 1, 1 is related to 2, 1 is related to 3. Is this a surjective relation? Please tell me. The definition is given in front of you. A relation from set A to set A, that is surjective relation if this will satisfy. What it means? It means for every element, there is an element A such that A is related to B. Now, if this is the base set and these are the relations that I'm giving you, you tell me which relation is surjective. Let me know. For example, 1 is related to 1, 2 is related to 1, 3 is related to 1. Okay, so tell me all these options. Let me know which relation is actually surjective. 1 is related to 1, 2 is related to 2, 3 is related to 3. And tell me about this one. 1 is related to 2, 2 is related to 3, 3 is related to 1. Okay, so some options I have given to you and you tell me which of them is a surjective relation. First, you understand the definition of surjective relation. So let me tell you, look at this. Look at this statement. This statement is saying that for every element, this is your set A and this is your set A. We are saying that for every element, there exists an element. Remember, for all there exists an element. Okay, means for this, there exists an element. Let's assume that this element is B. Okay, so or maybe I can say if this element is B, this element is A, then the question is saying that A is related to B. Okay, for example, let's assume this element is 1 and let's assume this element is 2. Then remember, we are saying that 2 is related to 1. Okay, so for every element, we are saying, for example, if this element is Y and let's assume this is, for this element also there must be someone. Remember, for this element also there must be someone. Okay, for every element, for example, if I take this element Z, then for this element also there must be someone. Okay, X is related to Z. So very simple point that for everyone there should be someone. Okay, for everyone, remember, For everyone, there should be someone. For example, for this, let's assume you have this, for this, you have this. Okay. So let's assume for this element, you have this element. And let's assume for this element also, you have this element. And for this element, you have this element. So you can easily see that for everyone, there should be someone such that A is related to B. Okay. Is this clear? Now, tell me this R1, is this a surjective relation? Is this a surjective relation? You can actually compare this surjective relation definition with surjective function definition. Okay, compare this with surjective function definition. Basically, we are saying that this is actually similar to surjective function, right? In surjective function, what happens? Surjective relation, this definition is actually similar to surjective function definition. Okay, here we are basically saying that whatever element you take, for everyone there should be someone. Okay, so actually, for example, let's assume you have 1, 2, 3. You have 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's assume, or maybe 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's assume these are the elements. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, what we are saying? We are saying that for everyone there should be someone. Okay, remember this is a B. For all B belonging to A. So these are actually the B's. These are actually the B's, and these are actually the A's. And remember, A should be related to B. Okay, for every B, there should be someone. Okay, there should be someone. So for example, you can see for 1, I can take 2. Okay, such that 2 is related to 1. Remember what it simply means? It means that for this 1, if you notice, for this 1, actually there is a pre-image. Yes or no? Do you agree with me? I can simply say that for this uh, for this 1, actually there is a pre-image. Yes or no? Can I say that for this one, look at this one, and for this one, there is a pre-image. Similarly, you can notice for every B, there is a. Okay, for example, this is also fine, no problem. 2 is related to 2. So for this 2, there is a pre-image. Next, you notice, for example, let's assume 3 is related to, let's assume 4. Then it simply means that 4 is related to 3. Okay. Actually, remember, here 4 is related to 3 because remember, A is related to B. Okay, A is related to B. So remember, these are the A's and these are the B's. We are saying for all B, there is a. Okay, for all B, there is a. For each of these elements, there is an element here such that this is related to this. Okay, so remember, these are A's, remember. So I can say 4 is actually related to 3. So I can also say 3 has a pre-image, means this 3, this has a pre-image. Similarly, let's assume that this 4 is also mapping to 2. Now, what I can say? I can say that 2 is related to 4. Again, 4 has a pre-image. So I can simply say that in a surjective relation, every element must have a pre-image. Can I say? Surjective relation means what? I can say surjective relation means every element has a pre-image. Can I say this? Please tell me. Surjective relation are on set A means what that means? That means every element has a pre-image. Yes or no? That means every element every element remember, every element B, okay, has a pre-image A. I can think like this. Okay, ultimately I can say A is related to B. Very simple. Is this point clear? Please tell me, did you understand this? So now let's come to these questions, R1, R2, R3, R4. Let's come to these questions. A student is talking about matrix representation, so let me talk about matrix representation also. How the matrix representation will look like for the surjective relations? How the matrix representation will look like? Let's talk about that. Think about it. How the matrix representation is going to look like? Let's assume that your set A that has 4 elements. Let's assume these are the elements 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now you tell me how the matrix representation will look like. We are saying that for everyone there is a someone such that A is related to B. This A, this is actually related to this B. Okay. So for this, there should be someone, right? Such that will be related to this. Means, for example, for this one, there should be someone. Agree? Yes or no? Because we are saying for everyone, there should be someone such that this A is actually related to B. So let's assume for one, there is a 3. Let's assume. What actually this will mean? This will mean 3 is related to 1. So remember, 3 is actually related to 1. So here you will put the tick mark. Yes or no? Okay. I am saying, let's assume for everyone there is someone. So let's assume for one there is 3. But actually it will mean that A is related to B. Means 3 is related to 1. So actually here you will put the tick mark. 3 is related to 1. Yes or no? For everyone there should be someone. Okay. Next, you tell me. For example, let's assume for 2 also there is 3. Now what it means? It means 3 is related to 2. Yes or no? For 2 also, let's assume for everyone there is someone. So for 2 also there is 3. Then it means 3 is related to 2. Okay, it means 3 is related to 2. Yes or no? Let's assume for 3 who is there? Let's assume for 3, let's assume there is a 4. Okay, or maybe for 3, let's assume there is 1. It simply means 1 is related to 3. Okay, 1 is actually related to 3. So here you will put the tick mark. And finally, who is there for 4? Okay, so let's assume for 4, there is, let's assume 1. Okay, now it simply means 1 is related to 4. So here you will put the tick mark. Now you tell me one thing. In the matrix representation of surjective relation, what can I say? Can I say every row will have a tick mark, or can I say every column will have a tick mark? What I can guarantee? Tell me. What I can guarantee? Can I say every row will have a tick mark? No, I can say every column will have a tick mark. So matrix representation means every column has a tick mark. Understood? Please tell me. Every column, every column has at least one tick mark. At least one tick mark. Is this clear? Please tell me. Every column is going to have at least one tick mark. Okay. So I hope you understood. So remember, very simple, because let me just give you the formal proof. Let's assume this is the matrix representation. Okay, and let's assume this column. Look at a column. I am giving you a column A, B, C, D. Okay, A, B, C, D, E. Now A, B, C, D, E. Now, can you prove that this column will have a tick mark? How can you prove it? Can you prove this column will have a tick mark? Let's assume there is no tick mark. Okay, first of all, you tell me, can you prove this column will have a tick mark? How will you prove it? Okay, I am asking you, prove this column will have a tick mark. Prove that this column has a tick mark. Has at least one tick mark. Please tell me. How can you prove it? Very simple. Read the definition of surjective relation. We are saying for everyone there is someone. So remember, read the definition here. We are saying for everyone there is someone such that A is related to B. So, okay, the proof is like this. The proof is like this. For D, there will be someone or not? Tell me, for D, there will be someone or not? Let me know. I am saying for everyone there is someone. For all B, there is a such that A is related to B. So for D, there will be someone, guarantee, yes or no? There is a guarantee. There will be at least some person will be there. Let's assume there is C. Let's assume, okay, or there is D. But actually, this means that A is related to B. Simply means C is related to D. Yes or no? C is related to D. Okay. Is this clear? So it means C is actually related to D. So there will be tick mark here. Agree? Please tell me. Is this clear? Please tell me. Okay. So this is the proof that every column is going to have a tick mark. So this is the definition of surjective relation from the matrix representation point of view. Okay. Let's come back to this question, that which of these relations are surjective? I am asking which relations surjective. Now you tell me the answer. Tell me the answer now. Okay, so surjective relation simply means that every element should have at least one pre-image. You can see one has a pre-image, two has a pre-image, three has a pre-image. Okay, so yes, this is a surjective. R1 is surjective, yes or no? Every element has a pre-image. Okay, surjective simply means, remember, surjective means every element has a pre-image. Okay, that is the definition of surjective. Surjective means every element has at least one pre-image. Has at least one pre-image. Okay, so very simple that every element has a pre-image. You can see this has this pre-image, this has this, and 3 also has a pre-image. So R1 is actually surjective. What about R2? R2, you can see R2 is not surjective. Okay, because you can see 2 has no pre-image. Yes or no? 2 has no pre-image, 3 has no pre-image. Okay, you can also see the matrix representation. In this matrix representation, can I say every column has a tick mark? Tell me. In this matrix representation, can I say every column has a tick mark? Yes. In this matrix representation, can I say every column has a tick mark? No. Here, you can see column of 2, column of 3, they don't have a tick mark. What about R3? Please tell me. Let me know. Am I audible? Please tell me. Let me know. Am I audible? Okay. So tell me the answer for this now. This R3, is this a surjective relation? You can see 1 has a pre-image, 2 has a pre-image, 3 has a pre-image. So yes, R3 is also surjective. What about R4? Tell me about R4. Can I say R4 is a surjective function? 2 has a pre-image, 3 has a pre-image, 1 has a pre-image. Yes, R4. So the answer will be R1, R3, R4. Is this clear? Please tell me. So this is the surjective function. Did you understand? Please tell me. Okay, so in the question is defining a surjective relation. This is the surjective relation. Did you understand? Remember, surjective relation says that for everyone there is A, for every B there is A, such that A is related to B. It means that every element has a pre-image. Very simple. Okay, it simply means that every element has at least one pre-image. At least one pre-image. So first you understand this relation and then you solve the question. So we have understood this relation. Now we are going to solve this question. Okay. So let's solve this question now. Let's see each option one by one. So look at the first option. A binary relation over set A is equivalence relation if it is surjective, symmetric, transitive. Tell me one thing. If I want to prove that R is equivalence relation, then what I need? For equivalence relation, we need reflexive, symmetric, transitive. And this option is saying that this relation is equivalence relation if R is surjective, symmetric, transitive. So we have symmetric, we have transitive. What we need? Tell me. We have symmetric, we have transitive. What we need? We need reflexive. Yes or no? So now you tell me. Can I say if you have surjective, symmetric, transitive, that will imply reflexive? Let's see the option A. Option A is saying that you just tell me this point that if you have surjective, if you have symmetric, and if you have transitive. Okay. If you have all these three things, do they imply reflexive? Let me know. Do they imply reflexive? Please tell me. You have surjective, symmetric, transitive. Do they imply reflexive? Reflexive property do they imply? If your relation is surjective, symmetric, transitive. Tell me. Will it imply reflexive? Or can you give me a counter example? See, the question is saying that you have a surjective relation. Okay. See, let's see. Let me check. Let's assume that A is related to assume that A is related to capital A. Okay. So you have this element A. Okay. Now, surjective means what? That A has a preimage. Yes or no? By surjective, what I can say? Tell me. Tell me by surjective what I can say. By surjective, I can say that A has a preimage. Yes or no? I can say A will have a preimage, means someone is related to A. Okay. If A is related to A, we are done. Yes or no? If A is related to A, we are done. There is someone related to A. Okay. There is someone related to A. Now there are two cases. If this person is equal to A, then we are done. Then we are done, right? Yes or no? Okay. Now you tell me. Otherwise, you tell me. If this person is not equal to A, means let's assume that B is related to A. Okay, some person B is related to A. Now, from here, you tell me, you have symmetric also and you have transitive also. So I am asking that let's assume B is related to A. Let's assume here B is not equal to A. Remember, B is not equal to A. I am saying that, okay, B is related to A. B is related to A. By symmetric, I can say A is related to B. Yes or no? By symmetric, from the symmetric property. Agree? So now from the transitive property, what will happen? See, very simple point. Very simple point. This is the point that B is not equal to A and B is related to A. Now, from the symmetric property, what will happen? From the symmetric property, I can say that A will be related to B. Okay. Now we have A related to B, B related to A. So from transitive property, what will happen? From transitive property, what will happen? From transitive, A related to B, B related to A. From transitive property, A is related to A. And that is what we wanted. That's it. Yes or no? Is this clear? Please tell me. Okay, so I hope you understood this. This proof, did you understand? A very nice, beautiful proof. Did you understand this proof? Let me know. Let me prove it again. Okay, this is actually a beautiful proof. So let me prove it again. See what we are saying. This is given that your relation is surjective. Your relation that is surjective. Okay, also symmetric, also transitive. Okay, so your relation is surjective, symmetric, transitive. These things are already given to you. Now, what we need? We need reflexive. We need to check, does it reply reflexive? Okay, this is what we need to prove. Prove that. Prove that this will be reflexive. Okay. Now, for reflexive, every element should be related to itself. Yes or no? So the proof is like this. Proof is like this. Take any, take any of your choice. Remember, take any x belonging to the base set. Is this clear? You have a relation R from set A to set A. Okay, so take any element. Remember, take any element from the base set. Now tell me, from surjective, by surjective, what it means? Because of surjective property, what will happen? Tell me. Because of surjective property, what is going to happen? Tell me. Let me know. Take any element. Remember, you can take any element. Now, by surjective property, what will happen? Someone will be related to X. Yes or no? Okay, someone will be related to X. It means some person will be related to X. I can say some person Y, some Y. What will happen? This will happen that Y is related to X. This will happen. You already know. Now you tell me one thing. Now you tell me one thing that if this Y is equal to X, then we are done. Agree with me? Because we want to prove that this relation is reflexive. So what we are doing, you take any element of your choice in the base set. Take any element of your choice. Now you can see that for surjective, there will be some Y such that Y is related to X. Now you tell me, there are two cases. What is case one? Case one is Y is equal to X. In this case, we are done. I can say in this case, we are done. Yes or no? Because you are taking any element of your choice, whatever element you take, that is related to itself. So if Y is equal to X, then we are done. Then we are done. Okay. What is the case two? Case two is Y is not equal to X. That is case two. Now, now what we have? So if Y is not equal to X, then what we have? We have Y is related to X. This is what we have. Okay, Y is related to X. Now, by symmetric property, what will happen? By symmetric property, X is related to Y. Okay, and after that, by transitive property, what will happen? Tell me. You can see by transitive property. y related to x, or I can say x related to y related to x. From the transitive property, x will be related to x. Again, we are done. Yes or no? Again, we are done. So that's it. So this is the proof that it will be reflexive. I hope you understood. So finally tell me, statement A, that is true, right? Yes or no? Surjective, symmetric, transitive, that will imply reflexive. So I can say, yes, it will be a equivalence relation. So this is your option A. What about the option B? Tell me. Option B is saying, if a relation is equivalence relation, then it is surjective. If your relation is equivalence relation, then it is surjective. This is option B, that equivalence relation implies surjective. Equivalence relation implies surjective relation. Okay. So tell me, is this true or not? Can you prove it? Yes. Remember, equivalence relation is reflexive. Yes or no? You already know that equivalence relation is reflexive. The answer, let me tell you, the answer is actually true. Okay, and what are the proof? You can see the proof is this. See, equivalence relation is reflexive. Is reflexive, symmetric, transitive. You already know. Okay, so because it is reflexive, so can I say every column has a tick mark? Yes or no? Equivalence relation is reflexive. So what it means? It means every column has a tick mark. Yes or no? I can simply say, or I can simply say that every element has a preimage. Okay, so what I can say? I can say, so for every element B, remember, for every element B, what I can say? For every element B, there is there is a preimage. There is a preimage B. There is at least one preimage, that is B. There is at least one preimage B. Yes or no? Because you can see this is reflexive. So I can say every column has a tick mark. I can also say that every element has a preimage. Yes or no? For every element, there is at least one preimage. So it is a surjective. So it is surjective. So equivalence relation implies surjective. Very simple. And if you have surjective, symmetric, transitive, then it will be equivalence relation. So this statement is also true. What about this statement C? That if you have reflexive, then it is surjective. Is this true? If your relation is reflexive, then it is surjective. Yes, this is true. Because if you have reflexive relation, then every element has a preimage. Okay, yes or no? Or I can say that every column has a tick mark. So yes, it will be surjective. What about option D? If it is surjective, then it is reflexive. Is this true? If it is surjective, then it is reflexive. No, this is not true. Can you give me a counter example? Let me give you a counter example for option D. What is the counter example for option D? Tell me. It is like this: 1 is related to 2, 2 is related to 3, 3 is related to 1. Yes or no? Consider this. This relation. This relation are on 1, 2, 3. Is this clear? Please tell me. So this is the counter example. You can easily see this is surjective because every element has a preimage. Every element has a preimage. So this is surjective, but this is not reflexive. So for this question, the answer will be A, B, C. That's it. This is your Stanford question. You can see what the Stanford University was asking. Let's see. This Stanford question was asking that prove that a binary relation is equivalence relation if and only if it is surjective, symmetric, transitive. That we have already seen. Yes or no? We have already proven that equivalence relation implies what? If you have equivalence relation, that will imply surjective. That we have already seen. Okay, equivalence relation is surjective, it is reflexive, it is symmetric, transitive, all these things. But the point is that equivalence relation implies surjective, symmetric, transitive. And if you have these three things, okay, surjective, symmetric, transitive, if you have these three things, then they will imply equivalence relation. We have already seen. So finally, I can say relation is equivalence relation if and only if it is surjective, symmetric, transitive. Okay, is this clear? Please tell me. So this is your Stanford assignment question, and this question we have put in our weekly quiz, and this is our question, and for this question answer will be ABC. Okay, please tell me. Let me know. Did you clearly understood this? Anyone has any doubt in this question? A very nice analytical question, right? In this question, you just have to understand the given definition. What this statement means, what we are trying to say. We are saying that for every element B, there is element A such that A is related to B. It simply means that every element has at least one pre-image. It simply means in the matrix representation, every column has a tick mark. Every column has at least one tick mark. That is the definition of surjective relation. And this is the question. Okay? I hope you understood. Let's move on now. Let's solve this question. Two relations R comma T on a set A. We are saying that R is no stronger than T. This new definition is given to you. R is no stronger than T. And this is the definition. Let me tell you that this question is actually taken from Stanford again. You can see. Let's introduce a new definition. They are introducing a new definition that is no stronger than. What they are saying? They are saying R comma T are binary relation on the same set A. We will say that R is no stronger than T if the following statement is true. Okay. So this is a Stanford question. Now let's solve it. First, you understand the given definition. What this given definition means, no stronger than T. Okay. So let's understand this. We are saying that R is a relation on T. Remember, R is a relation on set A. T is a relation on set A. Both are relations on set A. And we are saying that R is no stronger than T. This word, R is no stronger than T if and only if. What is the definition? R is no stronger than T if and only if this definition is given to you. For all A, for all B, if A is related to B under R, then A is related to B under T. Yes or no? See, this is the given definition that for all A, for all B in the base set, for all A, for all B in the base set, we are saying that if A are B, then A, T, B. Okay. So let's understand this definition. First, you understand that what actually this means. This is same as A comma B belonging to R. Agree? Do you agree? This is actually same as A T B. This is actually same as A comma B belonging to T. Okay. Yes or no? So very simple. Now, what you can do, this same definition, I can also write like this, that ARB implies ATB. I can also write like this, that if AB belongs to R, then AB belongs to T. Okay, is this clear? This is how we can write. Very simple. What we are basically saying, we are basically saying that for all A comma B in our base set, if this pair belongs to R, then this pair also belongs to T. Can you tell me this type of definition you have already seen somewhere? Tell me what actually this means. We are saying that if this pair belongs to R, then this pair also belongs to T. What this actually means? This actually means R is subset of T. Yes or no? This actually simply means R is subset of T. Yes or no? This actually means R is a subset of T, because we are saying that if any ordered pair belongs to R, then that also belongs to T. Is this clear? Let me know. If you have any ordered pair, if any ordered pair belongs to R, for example, let's assume this ordered pair belongs to R, or maybe this ordered pair belongs to R, then that also belongs to T. That ordered pair also belongs to T. Okay. So ultimately, this simply means that R is subset of T. Is this clear? Please tell me. So this fancy word that they are using, actually what this means, tell me. This no stronger than this fancy word they are using. Actually, this simply means subset. Yes or no? Basically, we are saying R is subset of T. Is this clear? Please tell me. Did you understand? See, very simple point. Let's assume you have a set. Base set is 1, 2, 3. Okay, this is your base set. Now you have two relations. R is also relation on set A and T is also relation on set A. And what we are saying? We are saying that R is no stronger than T. What that actually means? R is no stronger than T. Okay, R is no stronger than T. If and only if we are saying that for all A comma B in our base set, for all A comma B in the base set, what we are saying? We are basically saying that if any ordered pair A comma B, if this ordered pair AB belongs to R, then this also should belong to T. This ordered pair should also belong to T. This is actually the definition of subset, if you remember, because remember, what is the definition of if you have two set S comma T? What is the definition of S is subset of T? Do you remember the definition? Do you remember the definition, subset definition? S is subset of T if and only if, what we can say? We can say for all elements X, we can say if it belongs to S, then it also belongs to T. Yes or no? For every element, I can say if it belongs to S, then it also belongs to T. Every element of S is also in T. The same thing is written here. The same thing we are writing here, that if any ordered pair belongs to R, then that also belongs to T. Okay, for example, let's assume, assume that R is this. In R, let's assume 1 is related to 1, 2 is related to 1, and let's assume 2 is related to 3. Okay, so this is your R. Now you can see what T will be. Tell me what T can be. We are simply saying if any ordered pair belongs to R, then it also belongs to T. Okay, if this ordered pair belongs to R, then this will definitely belong to T. This ordered pair belongs to R, so this will definitely belong to T. This ordered pair belongs to R, so this will definitely belong to T. And there can be some extra things. So I can simply say that this R is basically subset of T. I hope you understood. So that's it. Remember, in this question, this word is same as subset. There is no difference. Okay, this definition, this is same as that R is a subset of T. Okay, what this statement means? This statement means R is a subset of T. Okay, now let's see each option. If R is equivalence relation, then T is equivalence relation. Tell me, if R is equivalence relation, can I say its superset will be equivalence relation? Remember, R is subset of T. R is subset of T. So tell me, can I say if R is equivalence relation, then its superset also will be equivalence relation? This statement is false. Can you give me a counter example? I can easily give you a counter example. Look at option A. I can easily give you a counter example. Let's assume your set A, that is 1, 2, 3. Okay. I am giving you this equivalence relation R. Consider this equivalence relation R. 1 related to 1, 2 related to 2, 3 related to 3. This is a equivalence relation. This is reflexive, symmetric, transitive. Now, tell me, tell me. If R is subset of T, then can I say T will be equivalence relation? Then can I say T will be equivalence relation? Then T may or may not be equivalence relation. May not be equivalence relation. Okay. For example, you can take this T. I am taking this T. 1 is related to 1, 2 related to 2. I am taking a superset, remember. Okay, 3 related to 3. 1 is related to 2. Now, where is the problem? Here you can notice. That R is actually subset of T. Yes or no? R is subset of T. R is equivalence relation. You can see R is equivalence relation. R is subset of T. R is equivalence relation. But T is not equivalence relation. Yes or no? But here T is not equivalence relation. Why? Why? Tell me. Because T is not symmetric. T is not symmetric. Is this clear? Please tell me. This is not symmetric. Because 1 is related to 2, but 2 is not related to 1. So T is not symmetric. So I can simply say that option A, that is false. What about option B? If T is equivalence relation, then can I say R will be equivalence relation? Remember, R is subset of T. If this T is equivalence relation, can I say its subset will be equivalence relation? Again, that is false. Again, that is very easily false. Okay, for example, in option B, what I can do? Subset of equivalence relation, can I say that will be equivalence relation? Subset of equivalence relation, can I say that will be equivalence relation? Let's assume this is set A. Now I am giving you set T. Okay, I am giving you this. Look at this. This is a equivalence relation. Yes or no? Now I am giving you a subset of T. Now consider this R, which is subset of T. I am giving you subset of T. Okay, on this, remember, this is your base set. Okay, here you can easily see this is not even reflexive. This is not even reflexive because 3 is not related to 3. So remember here that R is actually subset of T, where T is actually equivalence relation. But R is not equivalence relation. Is this clear? Please tell me. Let me know. So very simple. Remember that if T is equivalence relation, can I say its subset will be equivalence relation? No, I cannot say that. Okay, tell me about option C. If R is reflexive, if this is reflexive, then reflexive, R is reflexive. Can I guarantee that T will be reflexive? Yes, of course. Because if R is reflexive, then all the reflexive pairs R has. So its superset also will have reflexive pairs. Yes or no? Okay, is this clear? Very simple point. In the option C, let me tell you about option C. What option C is saying? Option C is saying that R is subset of T and R is reflexive. And R is reflexive. Now remember, very easily you can see, then T also will be reflexive. Then T will be reflexive. And the reason is very simple. The proof is actually very simple. Because remember, if your base set, let's assume your base set is 1, 2, 3, 4, then you can easily see if R is reflexive, this is your R. Okay, if R is reflexive, it will have all the ordered pairs. It will have all the ordered pairs, all these reflexive pairs. If R is reflexive, then R will have all these reflexive pairs. R can have extra things. R can have extra things. But if R is reflexive, then R will have all the reflexive pairs. Now T is superset. R is subset of T. T is superset. So of course T is reflexive. Yes or no? Of course T is also reflexive. So that's it. This is the proof. What about the option D? If T is reflexive, then can I say its subset will be reflexive? No, this I cannot say. Okay, this I cannot say. Very simple. For example, you can take this set A, that is 1, 2, 3. Okay, and what you can do? You can take this T. T is 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. This T you can take, and you can take this R, 1, 1. That's it. Okay, now you can see R is subset of T. T is reflexive, but R is not reflexive. So option D is actually false. Is this clear? Did you understand this question? Please tell me. Let me know, did you understand this question? So for this question, the answer will be only option C. Is this question clear to everyone? Now let's see this Stanford question. So you can see Stanford. This actually means R is subset of T, right? This definition simply means R is subset of T. Now two statements are given to you. Tell me, is this true or not? Is this true or not? Prove or disprove. If R is equivalence relation, if this R is equivalence relation, can I say its superset will be equivalence relation? Can I say its superset will be equivalence relation? This is actually false. This statement is actually false. We have already seen. What about the statement 2? If T is equivalence relation, then can I say its subset will be equivalence relation? Subset of equivalence relation will be equivalence relation. That is also false. Okay, we have already seen. This is your Stanford question. Please tell me, did you understand? So this question we have given in our weekly quiz, and for this question answer will be only option C. Is this clear to everyone? So remember, in this question all you have to do, just understand this definition. What this definition actually means. We are saying R is no stronger than T if this statement is true. And what this statement is saying? This statement is saying that if any ordered pair belongs to R, then that also belongs to T. Means R is subset of T. Okay. So very simple. Now let's move on now. Now let's solve this question. This question, let me tell you, this is also taken from a university. This is taken from Cambridge University. You can see this question from the weekly quiz. This is taken from the Cambridge University. You can see here. Okay. So let's solve this. Let's understand this question and let's solve this question. Let A comma B be two finite non-empty set. They are finite set. They are non-empty set with cardinality of A comma B equal to M comma N. Okay. F is a function with domain A codomain B. The question is saying let R be the cardinality of range of F. We define a relation R on A. Remember, we are defining relation R on A. So A is the base set. And we are saying that X is related to Y if and only if Fx and Fy are same. And the question is saying, is this an equivalence relation? If this is equivalence relation, then how many equivalence classes will be there? So this is the question. Let's understand this question very clearly. What the question is saying. Remember, A comma B are finite non-empty set. Set A is given to you, set B is given to you. Okay. And F is a function from A to B. Okay. So let's see. Let's assume that this set A, I'm giving you set A. Let's assume that is 1, 2, 3. Or maybe 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm giving you this set B. And let's assume that is 1, 2, 3. Okay. So two set I'm giving you. Or maybe I can give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm giving you total two set A comma B. Okay. The question is also saying that A comma B are two set. They are finite non-empty set. Okay. With cardinality M comma N. So these two set I'm giving you. Now the question is saying F is a function from A to B. Okay. So let me take a function from A to B. F is a function from set A to set B. Let me give you a function. Okay. So consider this function from set A to set B. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. I'm giving you this function. Tell me, is this a function if I do like this? If I do like this, is this a function? No, this is not a function because we need a function, remember. We need a function from set A to set B. Okay. So let me give you a function like this. Let's assume 1 is related to 1. Let's assume 2 is related to 1. 3 is related to 4. Or maybe 3 is related to 3 and 4 is related to 5. Okay. So consider this one. I have given you a function. Yes or no? Okay. Now what the question is saying. Now we are defining a relation on set A. Is this clear? Tell me on which set we are defining the relation. Who is the base set? We are defining a relation on set A, remember. On set A, we are defining the relation. So remember what we are doing now. We are defining this relation R on set A. Okay, and this is your set A. Means on domain. Okay. So, and what we are saying in this set A, remember this relation we are defining from set A to set A. Please understand. From set A to set A. We are defining a relation from set A to set A because we are defining relation on set A. It means this relation R is from A to A. Okay, from A to A. Now you tell me, the question is saying that A is related to B if and only if FA is equal to FB. Okay, and this is the function that is given to you. And we are saying that two elements are related to each other if their image is same. If their image is same, yes or no? You can see this. X is related to Y. If and only if their image is same, Fx equal to Fy. This is the definition that is given to you. Okay, so you tell me, look at this function, look at this base set. On this set, we are defining the relation. Can I say one is related to whom? Can you tell me? Can you tell me one is related to whom? Let me know. You can easily see that 1 comma 2 will be related. 1 is related to 2. 1 is also related to 1 or not? 2 is also related to 2 or not? Tell me. Because remember, 1 is related to 1. Remember, A is related to B if they have same image. If A comma B have same image. A is related to B if A comma B have same image. So you can see one will be related to 1, 2 will be related to 2. You can also see 1 will be related to 2 because they have same image. You can see 2 will be related to 1 because they have same image. So can I say that R will be actually reflexive? What do you think? What is your observation? Can I say R will be reflexive? Yes, every element will be related to itself. Every element will be related to itself. You can see 3 will be related to 3, 4 will be related to 4. Also, you tell me one thing. Can I say this will be symmetric? Can I say this will be symmetric? Yes. If these two have same image, then 1 will be related to 2, 2 will be related to 1. So if they have same image, then they will be related to each other. A student is saying how 2 is related to 2. See, read the definition. A is related to B if they have same image. So can I say 2 is related to 2? A is related to B if and only if they have same image. Means FA equal to FB. Tell me, can I say 2 is related to 2? Because F2 equal to F2. Is this correct? F2 equal to F2. Is this correct? Tell me. A is related to B if they have same image. Can I say 2 is related to 2? Because F2 equal to F2. Yes, of course. Similarly, you can say 3 is related to 3. Because why? Because F3 is equal to F3. Yes or no? So that is the reason. Can you notice that every element actually will be related to itself? Also, this will be symmetric also. Yes or no? Because if they have same image, then 1 will be related to 2, 2 will be related to 1. So this is your relation. This will be reflexive, symmetric. Also, it will be transitive. You can easily prove it. You can easily prove it that if these two have same image, and let's assume these two have same image, then these two also will have same image. You can actually easily prove it. Okay. But anyway, this is the idea. Did you understand? Let me know. So first you tell me this given question, did you understand what this given question is saying? In this question, remember, first a function is given to you. The question is saying first you have a function. This is a function. Okay. After that, what you have? After that, you are defining a relation. First, you have a function, and then you are defining a relation on A. Okay. And this relation you are defining like this. You are saying that A is related to B if and only if their image is same. So this is the idea. Understood? This question, did you understand clearly? This question, did you understand that A, B are set, finite, non-empty set? You are defining a function from A to B. So first you have a function, this function you have. Then we are saying that we are defining a relation on this domain. And you can see two elements will be related to each other if they have same image. So you can see every element will be related to itself. Definitely. Okay. Because FA will be equal to FA. A related to A because FA equal to FA. 2 related to 2 because F2 equal to F2. Okay. Now, let me give you the formal proof. So far, I did not discuss the formal proof. Let me give you the formal proof. Okay. Let's see. So remember, you have a function from set A to set B. There is a function. There is a function. Okay. Your function, any function you can have from set A to set B. Okay. You can have any function. Now, what we are doing, we are defining a relation. We are defining a relation R on set A, remember. On set A, we are defining a relation and we are saying that X is related to Y if and only if Fx equal to Fy. Okay. Is this clear? Now, now let's prove that this relation R actually will be reflexive, symmetric, transitive. So tell me, can I say that it will be reflexive? How will you prove? It will be reflexive. Yes. Remember, this is a relation on set A. Okay, so if you take any element from set A, then what I can say? Take any element from set A. Can I say that FA will be equal to FA? Can I say? Please tell me. Please tell me. Can I say FA will be equal to FA? Yes. Okay, so it automatically means A is related to A. That's it. Is this clear? So reflexive property is there. What about the symmetric property? Can I say this relation is symmetric? Yes, this relation will be symmetric. How to prove it? Very simple. Take any two elements in this base set for all A, comma B in the base set. For all A, comma B in the base set. Remember? Okay. Remember, if A is related to B, then can you guarantee B will be related to A? Can you guarantee that? If A is related to B, can you guarantee B will be related to A? Just apply the definition. A related to what? A related to B means what? It means FA equal to FB. So automatically FB will be equal to FA. Yes or no? Automatically FB will be equal to FA. So B is related to A. Is this clear? Please tell me. See this, read this definition. X is related to Y if they have same image. So you tell me, if X comma Y have same image, then Y comma X also have same image. Agree with me? In a function, if you have a function from set A to set B, if X comma Y have same image, then Y comma X also have same image. This is what I'm saying here. If A is related to B, that means FA equal to FB. It automatically means FB equal to FA, means B is related to A. Now you tell me about transitive. What about the transitive property? Tell me, what can you say about the transitive property? Is this transitive? Yes. Yes, this will be transitive because see, whatever three elements you take, you can take any three elements. If A is related to B, okay, if let's assume if A is related to B and B is related to C, can you guarantee A will be related to C? Can you guarantee? Can you guarantee that? Very simple. First, what this means? A related to B. This means they have same image. This means they have same image. FA equal to FB. What this means? B related to C. What this means? This means FB equal to FC. They have same image. Now, please tell me from this, can I say FA equal to FC? Let me know. Yes or no? So, very simple. So, this is the idea. So, tell me finally, this is equivalence relation or not? Is this equivalence relation? So, yes, this R will be equivalence relation. This is what we have proven. This R will be a equivalence relation. Okay. So, actually, this was your Cambridge University question. Read this question. Cambridge University question. First, you are defining a function. This is your Cambridge University question. First, you are defining a function from set A to set B. Then we are defining a relation on A. We are saying X is related to Y if they have same image. We have to prove that this is equivalence relation. So this question we have done, right? 4 marks you got. We have proved that R is equivalence relation, means R is reflexive, symmetric, transitive. Is this clear? But now what we need to do? Now we need to find how many equivalence classes are there. If it is equivalence relation, then how many equivalence classes will be there? What do you think? How many equivalence classes will be there? The number of equivalence classes, will that be same as the size of range? What is R? R is the cardinality of range of F. Will it be size of domain? Will it be size of codomain? Number of equivalence classes, that will be same as size of domain or codomain. Let me tell you. So we have already seen R is equivalence relation, right? Now I am giving you a function and then you tell me how many equivalence classes are there. Okay. Let me give you a function from 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let's assume that 1, comma 2, they are mapping here, 3 is mapping here, and 4 is mapping here. This function I am giving to you from set A to set B. Okay. This is the function f. So what is your relation R? First you tell me your relation R is like this: 1 related to 1, 1 related to 2, 2 related to 1, 2 related to 2. Yes or no? You can see they have same image. 1 is related to 1, 1 is related to 2 because they have same image. Yes or no? 2 is related to 1 because they have same image. Okay, then you have 3 related to 3 and 4 related to 4. Is this clear? This is your relation R. In this relation R, how many equivalence classes are there? Remember, yes, this is equivalence relation that you already know. This is equivalence relation that you already know. Tell me the equivalence classes. What are the equivalence classes of R? See, equivalence classes of R. What are those? In one equivalence class, you will put 1, comma 2. Yes or no? Notice, in one equivalence class, you will put 1, comma 2. Why? Because 1 is related to 2, 2 is related to 1, 1 related to 1, 2 related to 2. So this is one equivalence class. In another equivalence class, you will put this, and in another equivalence class, you will put this. So these are the equivalence classes or not? So how many equivalence classes? 3 equivalence classes. Agree? Yes or no? So I can say 3 equivalence classes. That is actually, that is same as size of domain or size of codomain or size of range. Size of range. Range is actually 135. This is the range. Okay, so you can see that is actually same as size of range. Is this clear? That is same as size of range. So finally, remember, for this question, the answer is going to be option B. Understood? Let me know. Option B is correct answer. Actually, you tell me, can you prove it that it will be always size of range? Tell me. This relation will be equivalence relation. We have proved it that this will be equivalence relation, and number of equivalence classes, that will be same as size of range of f. Okay, size of range of f. Now, can you tell me why number of equivalence classes that is same as size of range? Can you tell me? That is size of range. Anyone? Very simple. See, very simple idea. If I give you any function from set A to set B, if I give you any function f, then remember, let's assume these are the range. Let's assume these are elements in the range. Okay. And let's assume these are the extra elements. Okay. And these are the domain. Okay. Is this clear? So this is your domain. This B is actually your codomain. And let's assume this area is your range. Let's assume this area is your range. Okay. Now notice what will happen. Notice what will happen. Because this area is your range, can I guarantee there is some element mapping to it? Can I guarantee? Tell me, tell me, tell me. This area is range. So can I guarantee some element is mapping to it? Yes, some element will be mapping to it. Actually, if you notice, let me call this element A1 and let me call this element B1, B2, B3, B4. You tell me one thing. All the elements which are mapping to B4, will they create their own equivalence class? Tell me. All the elements which are mapping to B4. See, all the elements which are mapping to B4. Let's assume this element A7. Let's assume this element is also mapping here. Okay. Let's assume this element A5, this is also mapping here. Now you tell me, all the elements which are mapping to B4, they will create a equivalence class. So you can easily see there will be a equivalence class. There will be a equivalence class like this. Okay, A1, A5, A7. Because they all are mapping to B4. Yes or no? These all mapping to B4. Similarly, you tell me, all the elements which are mapping to B1, will they create a equivalence class? Will they create a equivalence class? Yes. Yes or no? They will also create a equivalence class. Let's assume you have A2, A3. So here I can say that A2, A3 will also create a equivalence class. So very simple point that in the range, I can say all the elements which are mapping to B2, they will create a equivalence class. And all the elements which are mapping to B3, they will create a equivalence class. Is this clear? So very simple point, because this is the range. So all these elements in this domain, all these elements, they are mapping to the range only. Remember, all these elements, they are mapping only here. Okay, they are mapping here. So what I can say, I can say that the number of equivalence classes will be same as your size of range. Actually, here you can easily see they are in a same equivalence class because they are all are mapping to, because they all are mapping to B4. Okay, all of them are mapping to B4. So that is the reason. Similarly, here they are in a equivalence class because all are mapping to B1. Okay, so like this. Okay, is this clear? So there will be one more equivalence class where all will map to B2, one more equivalence class where all will map to B3. So this is the idea. Is this clear to everyone? Please tell me. Let me know. If you did not understand, let me give you one small example. Consider this domain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and consider this codomain A, B, C, D, E. Okay, consider these. Now let's assume that these elements are mapping to A, and let's assume these elements are mapping to C, and these elements are mapping to D. Or maybe this is happening. Okay, so you tell me what are the equivalence classes? This is your set A, this is your set B. From here to here, a function we have defined. Now we are defining a relation. We are defining a relation R on set A. Okay, so you already know what is this relation R. This relation R, here we are going to say that, okay, we are defining this relation on set A. We are saying that X is related to Y if and only if Fx, Fy are same, their images are same, then they will be related. So what is the relation R? You can see one will be related to one will be related to two, one will be related to three. Actually, these three will be related to each other. Yes or no? These three, because they have same mapping, they have same image. 1 to 3, they have same image A. So actually, they will be related to each other. So let me just directly say what are the equivalence classes. Okay, what are the equivalence classes of R? So equivalence classes of R will be like this. In one equivalence class, you will put 1, 2, 3 because all of them are mapping to A. Yes or no? Because all of them are mapping to A. I can say because F1, F2, F3, all of them are mapping to A. In another equivalence class, whom you will put? In another equivalence class, you will put 4, 5. Why? What is the reason? Because F4 is same as F5 and they are mapping to C. They are mapping to C. Yes or no? In another equivalence class, you will put 6. Okay, you will put 6. In another equivalence class, you will put 7. So number of equivalence classes, that is same as the size of range. You already know what is the range. Range is A, C, D, E. So very simple that in the range, for every element, there is a equivalence class. Because of this element, you are getting this equivalence class. Because of this element, you are getting this equivalence class. Because of this element, this equivalence class. And because of this element, you are getting this equivalence class. So you are getting 4 equivalence classes because of every element in the range. Okay, all the elements which are mapping to A, all these elements, all these elements which are mapping to A, they are in the same equivalence class. So because of every element in the range, you are getting equivalence class, and in the equivalence class you have those elements which are mapping to A. So all the elements mapping to A are in one equivalence class. All the elements mapping to C are in one equivalence class. All elements mapping to D are in another equivalence class. And finally, all elements mapping to E are in one equivalence class. So there are total 4 equivalence classes. There are total 4 equivalence classes. Okay. So this is your question. Did you understand this question? Please tell me. So for this question, the answer will be option B. Is this crystal clear to everyone? Is there any doubt? Now let's solve this question. You can see a new relation has been defined, that is total relation. The definition is total relation. Let me tell you, this question is also taken from Stanford. You can see the relation, total relation they have defined. They are saying that a binary relation on set A is called total if for any element in the domain, for any element y, for any x, for any y, remember, at least one of x or y, y or x is true. Okay. So for all x, for all y, at least one of them must be true. X or y, x, y or x. Now let's solve this question. Okay. So very simple. A binary relation R on set A, that is called a total relation if for any x comma y, remember, for any x comma y, can they be same? Can they be same? We are saying for all x, for all y in the base set A, for all x, for all y. Can they be same? Yes, they can be same or they can be different. Okay, yes or no? At least one of them must be true. X or y, y or x. Okay. So the first option is, look at the second option. Can I say every total relation is reflexive? Can I say every total relation will be reflexive? Yes, this is true. Why? See, first you understand the definition of total relation. Is this same as total order relation? Tell me, total versus total order. Okay, don't confuse this total relation with total order. Do you remember what is total order? Total relation, this is a new definition. And total order relation, that is a standard definition. They are not same. They are not the same. Is this clear? Okay. Remember, this is a new definition, total relation. A new definition is given to you. This definition is saying for all x, for all y, at least one of x or y, x, y or x is true. Total order relation is different. This is a partial order relation in which every two elements are comparable. Yes or no? Total order relation. This is reflexive, antisymmetric, transitive, and also every two elements must be comparable. So they are not actually same. Don't confuse total relation with total order relation. Okay. Now, what is the definition of total relation? The definition is like this. You have a relation R on set A. What it means? It means you have a relation from set A to set A. Elements of A are related to elements of A. We are saying R is total. If and only if. The definition is like this. For all X, all Y in the base set. Tell me, when we write like this, for all X, for all Y in the base set, here X, Y, they can point to the same element or they will point to the different element. Tell me. They can point to same or different any element because X is also element of A, Y is also element of A. They can be same or they can be different. So very simple that for all X, for all Y in A, what we are saying? We are saying that either X should be related to Y or Y should be related to X. Means whatever two elements you take, same or different, one of them, at least one of them must be related to another. Is this clear? Please tell me. Okay, is this clear? At least one of them must be related to another. Tell me one thing. Is this a total relation? Example I am giving you. Let's assume your base set is 1, 2. I am giving you a relation. That is 1 is related to 2. You tell me, is this a total relation? Is this relation a total relation? Is this a total relation? This is not a total relation. Why? This is not a total relation. Why? Why? Because for all x, for all y. What about 1 comma 1? 1 comma 1 is missing. 2 comma 2 is missing. Array x can be 1, y can be 1. What about 1 comma 1? We are saying for all x, for all y. Take any two elements, same or different. At least one of them must be related to another. Take any pair. Take any pair, same or different elements. Take any pair. One of them must be related to another. They are actually missing. Because they are missing, so it is not a total relation. Is this clear? See what I'm saying. Read this. When we say for all x, for all y. Okay. For example, for all x, for all y, pxy. What actually this means? Please understand this. Please understand this. Okay. Assume that domain is this. Assume domain is 1 comma 2, 1 comma 2. Let's assume this is the domain. Now remember, for all x, for all y, this means for any two elements, any pair you take. Here you can take any pair of elements. Any pair of elements, remember. And they can be same or different. Basically, for all pairs, any pair of elements, this p xy must be true. This is what it means. Okay, so remember, if you have 1 comma 2, then remember p1 comma 1 also must be true, p2 comma 2 also must be true, p1 comma 2 also must be true, p2 comma 1 also must be true. Is this clear? Please tell me. Let me know. So the same thing is here. What is the total relation? When can I say relation is total? If you have a relation from set A to set A, when can I say R is total? The definition is saying R is total if and only if for all A comma B, or I can say for all X comma Y in A. Remember, for all pairs, whatever pairs you take, what should happen? This should happen that X is related to Y or Y is related to X. Okay. So, is this clear? Now, you can easily see that here, if I give you, for example, let me give you example. If example is, let's assume 1 comma 2, if this is your base set, then remember your total relation must have 1 comma 1. It must be reflexive, right? It must be reflexive. Okay. Yes or no? It must be reflexive because if you take same elements, then it must be reflexive. I can take 1 comma 2, that is fine. This is also total. Remember, yes, this is total. You can easily see. You can see this is total. Why? Because if you take any pair, 1 comma 1, 2 comma 2, 1 comma 2, 2 comma 1, if you take any pair, then one of them, at least one of them is related to another. This must be true. Either x is related to y or y is related to x. So yes, this relation is total. This relation is also total. 1 related to 1, 2 related to 2, 1 related to 2, 2 related to 1. This is also total. At least one of them must be related to another. Either x is related to y or y is related to x. Okay. Now, did you understand this question? Please tell me. Let me know. Did you understand this question? What is total relation? This is the given definition. A relation is total if for any x comma y, at least one of them is true. At least one of them. At least one of them. X are y, y are x. At least one of them is true. This is the total relation definition from the Stanford. Now let's solve. So can I say every total relation is reflexive? Can I say every total relation is reflexive? Yes. Yes, every total relation will be reflexive. What about the option number A? Total order, if and only if it is partial order and total. Tell me. Can I say relation is total order? Total order. If it is partial order and total, let me know. Yes, this is correct. Yes, this is correct because you can see what is total order. Total order means in a total order relation, what should happen? It must be a partial order. It must be a partial order and every two elements comparable. It must be a partial order and every two elements, every pair of elements must be comparable. And every pair of elements must be comparable. Yes or no? So you can see that every pair of elements is comparable. That is definition of total or not? Let me know. Yes or no? That is the definition of total or not? Every pair of elements is comparable. Every pair of elements is comparable. This is same as total. In total also we are saying the same thing, that for every pair they must be comparable. So finally I can say total order means partial order and every pair of elements is comparable. Is this clear? Please tell me. Is this understood? So yes, option A is true. You already know the definition of total order. Total order means it is a partial order and every pair of elements must be comparable. Every pair of elements is comparable. That is same as total. That for any pair, you can take any pair, then they must be comparable. So option A is true. What about option C? If relation is total and symmetric, then it is equivalence relation. If your relation is total and symmetric, then can I say it will be equivalence relation? Tell me. Can I say? See, look at option C. Option C is saying that total and symmetric implies equivalence relation. What we need for equivalence relation actually? Actually, what we need for equivalence relation? So, for equivalence relation, we need reflexive, transitive, and symmetric. So, symmetric is already there, right? Okay, symmetric is already there. Total implies reflexive or not? Total implies reflexive or not? You know that total implies reflexive. So, you got reflexive also. We have reflexive, we have symmetric. Two things we already got. We got symmetric, we got reflexive. What is the third thing we need? We need transitive. Okay, now prove transitive. Now all you have to do, just prove transitive or not. Okay, so now what you can do, can you prove transitive? Checking transitive. Checking for transitive. So you can see assume A is related to B. Okay, assume A is related to B. B is related to A. Sorry, B is related to C. Assume A is related to B, B is related to C. Can you say that A will be related to C? Let me know. See, actually, this proof is actually very, very simple. If it is total, if it is total, then tell me A, ARC or CRA must happen, yes or no? See, due to total, because it is a total relation, due to total relation, you tell me, because of total relation, either ARC will happen or CRA will happen, yes or no? Do you agree? Yes or no? Because of total relation, either ARC or CRA will definitely happen, because total relation means for every pair of elements, at least one of them is related to another. Okay. If this happens, then we are done. Okay. If this happens, then we are done. We are done. And if this happens, then because of symmetry, Because of symmetric ARC. So yes, you are always going to get ARC. Yes or no? Is this clear? Please tell me. Let me know. This is the simple proof. Understood? Did you understand the proof? The proof is very simple. Remember, total implies reflexive. If your relation is total, it is also reflexive. Now let's check for transitive. Assume that A is related to B related to C. Now can you guarantee A will be related to C? Yes, we can guarantee, because if this relation is total, then either ARC or CRA will happen. If ARC happens, then we are done. If CRA will happen, then because of symmetry, I can say ARC will happen. So yes, option C, that is also true. What about option D? Every total relation is transitive. What about that? Every total relation is transitive. This is false. You can easily give a counter example. Look at this counter example. This is total but not transitive. Not a transitive. Is this clear? See, this is total but not transitive. Agree with me? So, what I'm saying, that for option D, what you can do, you can take this base set 1, 2. Now consider this relation R, which is 1 related to 1, 2 related to 2, 1 related to 2. You can easily see this is a total. This is not a transitive. Sorry. Sorry. This is actually transitive. Sorry. This is actually transitive. Can you give me a counter example where you have a total relation, but you don't have transitive relation? For option D, every total relation is transitive. Can you give me a counter example? Consider this 1, 2, 3. This is the base set. You know that total relation will always be reflexive. So total relation will be reflexive. That is fine. I want total which is not transitive. See, I can do this. 1 is related to 1, 2, 2 is related to 2, 3 is related to 3, because every total relation is reflexive. What I can do, this, I can do this, and I can do this. Now, this is a not a transitive. Yes or no? Now this is not transitive. Yes, this is total, but this is not transitive. Agree? See, I can do this. 1 related to 2, 2 related to 3, 3 related to 1. Now this is a total relation but not transitive. This is total but not a transitive. Agree? Yes or no? So this is the counter example for option D. So option D is not true. For this question, the answer will be what? The answer will be ABC. Is this question clear to everyone? Please tell me. Let me know. A student is asking very nice doubt in the option A. Correct? Vedant, your doubt is in the option A. You are asking total order, if and only if, partial order, and total. Let me tell you, let me answer your doubt. You are asking your doubt in the option A. See, option A is saying that total order, if and only if partial order and total. Okay. Now remember one thing, that what total means. Actually, total allows A related to B related to A. Total allows that. Okay, see what total allows and what partial order allows. See what total allows. Partial order, that is antisymmetric. That is antisymmetric, right? Yes or no? Okay, but remember total relation. This allows A related to B related to A. All these kind of things. This allows. Okay, it allows. Remember, it allows A related to B and B related to A. Okay, this is allowed. Now you notice one thing. If a relation has both these properties, then what will happen? See what I'm saying. Assume A not equal to B. Assume A is not equal to B. Now you tell me A related to B, B related to A. Okay. You tell me what the partial order will allow and what the total order will allow. For example, if both of them happen, it will be allowed in partial order, it will be allowed in total. Please tell me. In total, what will be allowed? In partial order, what will be allowed? Let me know. Let me know. See, both happen. This is allowed in total, allowed by total, but this is not allowed by posset. Yes or no? Agree? Okay. Now, can you notice that? Can you notice that if this happens, this does not happen? This is allowed in both of them. Yes or no? This is allowed in both of them. If this does not happen, this happens. This is also allowed in both of them. If both do not happen, if both do not happen, this is allowed in what? If both do not happen, this is allowed here, but this is not allowed here. So ultimately, you tell me, if a relation has, if a relation is partial order and total, then what is allowed? Now tell me, if a relation is a partial order and total, then what will be allowed? Let me know. If a relation is partial order and total, then only two things will be allowed. Yes or no? Only this is the only this is what is allowed in both of them. Do you agree with me? Okay, so very simple point that when you have these two properties, partial order and total, then this will automatically become total order. Yes or no? Is this clear? Vedant, is your doubt clear? Because when you have both these properties, if your relation is partial order and total, then only these two situations will happen. This will happen in total order. This happens in the total order. Okay, is this clear? So this is your option A. Anyone has any other doubt in this question? Please tell me. This is a beautiful question. We have done the analysis. Do you have any other doubt? Let me know. Please tell me. Let me know. Is this clear to everyone? A student is asking, this session will be recorded. Yes, this will be recorded. In this session, we are discussing weekly quiz 7. So once you attempt this weekly quiz 7, then all these questions, all these solutions you can see. When you attempt this weekly quiz 7, then this session you can watch. Okay, don't worry. This session is for weekly quiz solutions. So when you come to the weekly quiz 7, you attempt it, then you can watch this solution session. Anyone has any other doubt? Please tell me. Let me know. Is this question clear? Okay, so very simple. Now let's move on. Now let's solve this question. Now let's solve this question. A relation R on set S is said to be serial if for all x there exists a y such that x is related to y. This is the definition of serial. The question is saying T is symmetric and transitive relation on non-empty set A. What is T? This is a symmetric and transitive relation. Which of the following is or are true? T is reflexive. Tell me, symmetric and transitive, does it imply reflexive? The question is saying T is symmetric and transitive, and option A is saying that T is reflexive. So tell me, symmetric and transitive, does it imply reflexive? Let me know. Option A. What option A is saying? Option A is saying that symmetric and transitive. If you have symmetric and transitive, does it imply reflexive? Let me know. No, it does not imply reflexive. Yes or no? It does not imply. Can you give me a counter example? Yes, consider this counter example. I am giving you a set, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now consider this relation R on set A. Okay. I am giving you a graph. So consider this 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now consider this graph. Okay. Now you tell me, look at this graph and tell me, is this transitive? Is this transitive? Look at this graph and tell me, yes, this is transitive. Yes, this is transitive. Is this symmetric? Yes, this is symmetric. Okay. But you can see this is not reflexive. Yes or no? Agree? This is not reflexive. Is this clear? Please tell me. So very simple. Symmetry transitive does not imply reflexive. So I can say option A, that is not true. Okay. What about the next? What about the next? Look at this option. For any element x in the base set, if x is related to y for some y, then x Rx is true. The question is talking about relation T, and T is symmetric and transitive. The question is saying relation T that is symmetric and transitive. Option B is saying for any element x in the base set, if x is related to someone, x t y for some y, if x is related to someone, then x will be related to x. Okay, let's see this option B. Remember, relation T is symmetric and transitive. This is already given to you in the question. Symmetric and transitive. Okay, this is your relation T. Now, what this question is saying, option B. Option B is saying that for any, option B, what this option B is saying that for any x belonging to base set A, okay, if x is related to y for some y, okay, for some y in the base set, then can I say x will be related to x? Can I say x will be related to x? Tell me. Let me know. Yes, this is actually true. Okay, and the proof is also very simple. See, relation T that is symmetric and transitive. Okay, so now what you do, very simple. Take this x. You are already saying that x is related to y. Okay, this is already given to you. This option B. Option B is saying that for any x, if x is related to y for some y, means x related to y that is already given to you. Is this clear? Please tell me. This is already given to you. Also, this is given that T is a symmetric transitive. This is also given. T is a symmetric, T is transitive. This is also given. So tell me, from here, because of symmetry, what will happen? Because of symmetry, what is going to happen? Y will be related to x. Okay, now you tell me. Now notice, x is related to y is related to x. Because of transitivity, what will happen? Because of transitivity, what will happen? Tell me. X will be related to x. Yes or no? And this is what we wanted to prove, that x will be related to x. So yes, this is true. Okay. So very simple. Option B is actually true. What about option C? If x is a serial, then x is reflect. If What about option C? If T is a serial, then T is reflexive. Is this true? Yes, this statement is true. If T is serial, then T is reflexive. Remember what is serial? Serial means, serial relation means for all x, there exists a y such that x is related to y. Means everyone is related to someone. Okay, everyone is related to someone. This is what serial means. Okay, please understand option C. First of all, you understand what is the definition of serial relation. Serial relation means everyone is related to someone. This is saying For all x, there exists a y such that x is related to y. So it means everyone is related to someone. Everyone is related to someone. Now, option C, what this option C is saying? Option C is saying that serial and symmetric and transitive. Serial and symmetric and transitive. Serial and symmetric and transitive. These three things, can they imply reflexive? Tell me, can they imply reflexive? These three things, serial and symmetric and transitive, can they imply reflexive? Yes, they will reply reflexive. Why? See, very simple point. Let me prove. This is actually true. Okay, and the proof is also very interesting. So let's assume you have a relation R on set A. Okay, this is what you have. You have a relation R on set A. So you have a relation R from set A to set A. Now what you do? Now what you do? See, the proof is like this. Proof is like this. Take any, remember, take any x in A. That is your choice. Okay, so remember, take any x in A. Now, you just tell me one thing. Serial means what? Because of serial, due to serial, what will happen? Tell me. Due to serial, what will happen? Let me know. Due to serial relation. Due to serial relation, x will be related to someone. Yes or no? X is related to someone. Do you agree? Because serial relation says that everyone is related to someone. So, because of serial, x will be related to someone. Now there are two cases. Case one, what is that? Case one, if x is related to x, then we are done or not? Tell me. X is related to someone. Now tell me, if x is related to x, then we are done or not? Then we are done, because we want to prove reflexive. If x is related to x, then we are done. Okay, in case 2, what will happen? In case 2, x is related to y where x is not equal to y. Yes or no? X is related to y where x is not equal to y. Now you tell me, because of symmetric, what will happen? Because of symmetric, please tell me, because of symmetric, what will happen? Because of symmetric, y will be related to x. Yes or no? Now you have x related to y related to x. Okay. So now what you have? Now you have x related to y related to x. Because of transitivity, what will happen? Tell me. Because of transitivity, what will happen? X will be related to x. Yes or no? X will be related to x. Is this clear? That's it. We are done. Okay. So very simple point, that this is how you can prove that if you have serial symmetric transitive, then it will be reflexive. Is this understood? Is this proof clear to everyone? If you have serial symmetric transitive, then that will definitely imply reflexive, because what you can do, you can take any x in the base set, take any element in the base set, your choice. You can take any element in the base set. Due to serial relation, what will happen? X will be related to someone. Now there are two cases. If x is related to x, then we are done. If x is related to y, where x and y are different, then what will happen? Because of symmetric, y will be related to x. Now you have x related to y related to x. So because of transitivity, x will be related to x. So that's it. This is the reflexive property. Okay. So this is your option D. And we have seen that option D is also true. So for this question, what is the answer? Sorry. Yes, we have seen option C. We have seen option C, that is true. What about option D? Tell me. Every equivalence relation is serial. Is this true? Every equivalence relation is serial. Yes, this is true. Why? Because equivalence relation is reflexive. See, equivalence relation is reflexive, and reflexive implies serial. Because in the reflexive, can I say that every element is related to someone? Yes, every element is related to someone. So very simple. For this question, the answer will be, for this question, the final answer, that will be option B, C, D. This will be the final answer for this question. Is this clear? So these are the questions in our weekly quiz 7. I hope you loved the analysis of all these questions. Please tell me, can I say your, I can say, too much brain? You are using too much brain in this quiz, in this weekly quiz 7. Tell me, do you agree with me that after solving all these questions of this weekly quiz 7, you are more confident in the relation chapter? You have better understanding of relation chapter, how these things are connected to each other. In the GATE exam, they can define a new relation. Remember, in GATE 2021, they were defining a new relation, circular relation. Okay, circular relation. They defined circular relation in GATE 2021. So in the GATE exam, they can define a new type of relation. They will give you the definition and they will ask you some options. So you need to do the analysis, understand the definition, do the analysis. This is what we have done. We have done in this session. In this session, many different relations I have given to you from the standard resources, from the Stanford book, from the Washington University, from the Cambridge. Basically, from the standard resources, I have collected all the new definitions of relations. All those questions I have put in this weekly quiz 7, and then we have done the analysis, detailed analysis with complete analysis, complete solution I have given to you. I hope you understood. I hope you loved this session. So this quiz, I can say this quiz number 7, or I can say this solution session, will definitely improve your problem solving skills. Okay. This type of weekly quizzes we will do in the future also. Don't worry. This type of weekly quizzes, they will improve your understanding. They will improve your problem solving skills, your analytical skills. Slowly, you will become the topper of the GATE exam. Okay. In one day, you cannot become the topper, but slowly, if you do like this, if you keep improving your understanding, if you keep improving your problem solving skills, then definitely you will become the topper one day. Okay. So thank you everyone. And this session we are going to put on the Go Classes YouTube channel, this solution, this video. So please like and comment. Okay. Please do that. Whenever you are watching any video on the Go Classes YouTube channel, if you find it helpful, then please press the like button and please put a comment. Okay. Thank you everyone.